Hello, welcome to Hit the Bricks. Today we're taking a look at this vintage police headquarters set from the 1970s. It goes by two different names, or two different set numbers as it were. Set number 381 and 588. I've seen it referenced for 1978 and 1979. I'm thinking it probably just ran 2 years. It's got 372 pieces and it just happens to be my first Lego set I ever got. With that being said, I did try to build it up with all the original pieces. I wasn't too good at keeping all the pieces together in my Lego sets over the years. They got played with quite a bit. So much that some of the faces aren't even on there anymore. But I think I did pretty well. I am missing a few key pieces. These blue pieces right here, which have kind of skyrocketed in price. There should be 3 more of them. I'm pretty sure I traded those off in the 1990s to my friend Chris for some extra roll plates. So I'm pretty sure I know where those are. But everything else has got the original patina, discoloring, and possibly chew marks. So we're gonna build this one up and then we're just gonna take a look at it real quick and just have some fun remembering some of the vintage sets. I want to do a whole series of these because I think it's really interesting. Again, this is my first set. So hopefully it's entertaining for you guys. Maybe some of you've got this or were thinking about picking up some of the vintage ones. This one I think holds up really well. 4 minifigs, a police car, a helicopter, and a motorcycle, and a pretty substantial set. Again, 372 pieces, and 4 minifigs was actually really good in the 1970s. And I think it's actually worth picking up if you can find one for a reasonable price, or maybe you just want to build it up. You can use Lego instructions. LegoBrickInstructions.com I think is the one that I used to get this since I didn't have the instructions anymore. I'll put a link down below, not affiliated or anything, but it is a nice resource to be able to build up some of these sets. There's really nothing too crazy. Obviously it's very quote-unquote blocky. You might have to substitute some of the pieces, like I said, these blue pieces here, unless you want to spend upwards of $20 a piece for them. But otherwise, you can always substitute if you wanted to bring some of these vintage sets back to life. Okay, so let's see what you get with this set. Right off the bat, we can see it comes with a classic straight road piece, which may seem kind of odd that just on a straight road goes all the way through. However, back in the day, there wasn't quite as many specialty plates. There were some, but I actually liked that this came with a straight road piece because it gave you some versatility, not having as many options back then. When you wanted to take this apart and make your own MOCs and do some different things, it was nice to have an extra road piece that you could put onto your town. So that was actually really helpful. We got some nice little nuances, little extras with this set here. We got a black lamppost, which is pretty simple, but it's actually kind of elegant. It works really well. I do like that. We've got a phone box here, pretty classic. It came with 1 tree, which again, back in the 70s, early 80s was pretty nice because there was a tree and flower set I believe you could get. But it just wasn't as readily available, so it was nice whenever you got a tree or some flowers with the sets. We've got some nice details up on top. We've got the speakers here for announcements, and we've got a antenna, and then some lights here. Maybe those might be to maybe help direct the helicopter come in, which we got the helicopter pad right here, which is actually pretty nice to bring the helicopter in. It can land both ways. Plenty of room, plenty of playability there, with a nice bridge that goes to the what I would think would be the command center here. We've got the police sign. I'm glad I still got this original police sign because it seems like that's a little bit harder to find, the actual one, so I'm glad I've got that. We've got some lights here off on the side, a little crack, but still functional. So it looks nice next to the yellow door. Just using standard yellow doors, kind of the standard yellow windows with the green shutters and the black pieces inside here that can open. They used the same thing in a lot of buildings back then, but it really does work. It was nice. I think it holds up pretty well. I think the whole set holds up really well for being 1970s. Like I said, I think you get a lot for it. On the side here, we do have, this is the jail here, and this is what we use for jail cells. Pretty simplistic, but you know, it works. It worked at the time. Keep the criminals, which don't think we actually had any criminals back then. You certainly didn't have the minifigures with the stripes on them. Nothing like that. So you just had to make your own. Maybe this guy's a villain or something like that, and he goes in there, or some of your other minifigs you could put in there if you wanted to. On the other side, we've got a couple more of those windows here. And when we look around in the back, we can see the actual two different rooms and then the jail cell. The two different rooms are pretty basic. You got some details. You've got the red emergency phone there on each level, on the same desk, and the same very blocky, probably somewhat uncomfortable chair. Continue on, we can see we've got the garage bays in the back here. Again, the vehicles can go all the way through, which is pretty nice. We can park the police car and the motorcycle in there. There's a small sink in there to wash up after you got done with your patrol. On the other side here is the jail that we talked about before, a not so secure looking yellow door. I don't think these are too hardened of criminals that are going in there, but they do have a small bench or a bed for their hopefully short stay in the jail. So overall, the back is it's detailed enough, I think, for the time period, and it might be interesting to maybe do a remock of this, or bring it up to today's standards as much as I could. That might be really fun to do, add more details to it, and maybe use a few of the new pieces, but keep some of the retros. I don't know, just something to think about for the future, but I really do still like the set. Very nostalgic over it, but I honestly think it holds up pretty well. So the minifigures, we've got the two patrol officers here. They look pretty much the same outfits and such. We've got the small walkie-talkies, radios there. This guy's got a different hat on and a slightly different uniform. He may be maybe a captain or something, or sergeant, not sure. And then up on top, we've got the minifig in blue here. He's directing the helicopter coming in. Not sure maybe what his role is. Maybe he's some kind of a supervisor or whatever, but he's definitely not dressed in the normal police uniform, which is nice because it gave a little variety to the set. So there you go, the vintage police headquarters set from the 1970s. This was especially fun for me to build up, since this was obviously my first set, like I mentioned before. I really appreciate you guys watching. Maybe some more vintage sets coming up in the future on the channel. Right now, you can enjoy the build up of this one, and we'll see you next time.